Radio Cayman, maintaining the innovation.
On a daily basis, making it easy to connect with you, our listeners. Add us to WhatsApp today, 925-3261. That's 925-3261.
Radio Cayman.
Send a text or voice note.
Can I send a request, please?
You don't really have to ask us. Just send a request.
This is a shout out to my ex.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
Radio Cayman, maintaining the innovation.
Oh, I think they're doing a great job. A lot of them are.
Good afternoon, Dwayne. How are you?
Not too bad, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today with Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
But I do have some questions.
there are more questions than answers.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. If you're ready to talk, we're willing to listen.
Well, I really enjoy this program today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
May God bless every person.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome. Hey, thank you so much for joining us. It's another terrific Thursday's edition of Talk Today as we invite you to be a part of a discussion. We want you to share your thoughts with us, not just keep our company, but inform and be insightful, and to ensure that your voices, views, opinions matter. Share it with the rest of us so we equally can engage. It's going to be open line here on Talk Today, 949-8037 or 1-800-534-TALK. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration, Tourism and Transport. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Savannah Pharmacy in Countryside Shopping Village, convenient opening hours including Sundays and holidays. And Royal Fidelity Bank and Trust, money at work.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today, the Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program. We ask our listeners to avoid statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use any indecent language or make any statement which is false or misleading. Email talktoday@candw.ky or call 1-800-534-8255. Courtesy of Flow.
Cayman's #1 network that connects you to your world like never before.
Let your voice be heard. Once again, here's your host, Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back, and thanks for joining us. What is on your mind today? What do you want to discuss? What do you want to share with us, and what do you want to talk about? There are things that sometimes just go through our minds that we leave it alone as a fleeting thought. There are times when we see it as just nothing more than that niggling feeling. But then, does it get so much inside of you that you can't seem to contain it? It may be a business idea, an artistic creation. It may be that thing that is a seminal moment in your life that you have to really stop and ponder, perhaps take action, not to ignore sometimes those things that lead to great inspiration, that cause us at that time perhaps consternation and even a sense of rebellion. A word in and of itself that may seem like a bad word. But think about how nations have been birthed. Was it not by rebellion? Maybe we have called it, in today's language, something like terrorism. A friend of mine, very astute, very insightful, very charismatic, and a very, very, determined gentleman who I'm honored to call as a friend, reminded me last evening that it is about, the actions of others geared towards the collective good. Think of it, for instance, the great nation of America, the United States, they say, came about because, perhaps displeasure with the political and economic landscape. Do we not also think of other nations likewise wanting to champion a cause? Now, there are many who would say that you can't have that without bloodshed. Well, one would like to think that as we advance in our technology, could we not also advance in our civility? Could we not get to a space and place that recognizes that you can get that level of quote-unquote independence? Let's insert the word autonomy without it having to come as a result of a violent action. and demonstration. What are your thoughts? And I say that to share in the quest for this idea that as a nation, Cayman is not even considered a country. And in that same context, Cayman and many who live and work here, whether they're known by the immigration status as Caymanian or their ancestral links or otherwise, well, we should never champion the idea of being an independent nation. What do you think about that? Is there such a thing as an independent nation? Are we, as they say, an island? No man is an island, they remind us. We who have been, sort of reared in homes where even our parents are in their 90s and 100s and plus, we still see them as that protecting sort of environment, that protector of us who ourselves may be in our 60s, 70s, and 80s. Parents, I believe good parents, will always draw alongside their children. So should it be the same with the Association of Nations? Is there really independence, or is it this sort of interdependence? And when you were to look at it, as a friend reminded me earlier, the idea that we've had, sort of colonizers, not unlike maybe what the scientists and their billions and billions and trillions and however much that's been expended to leave this earth and travel to another galaxy or wherever it is that they're going with their, unknown quests to colonize. Well, is that a venture we should explore? No pun intended. Or should we spend much more effort and time and deliberately look at our own physical landscape and perhaps explore the waters beneath, the surface? Well, give us a thought. 949-8037, 1-800-534-8255. Let's go to the phones. Hey, good afternoon. Welcome. Thanks for calling.
There are those of us waxing poetic this afternoon.
How are you, my lady?
Early in the afternoon.
Is it not?
Say waxing in vain is what I really mean to say.
Ooh, well, does not the moon wax in vain at times? Should not the heart labor without pain?
Wax and the veins, not waxing in. No. Look here.
Go talk to me.
Nobody now give you a cough this morning. No, you on the hyper or what?
On the hyper?
Yeah.
You think I need? Let me pull my chair closer so I can listen closely.
I'm looking for chocolate.
Oh.
I can tell you the truth, my mother likes chocolate. She like that white one.
Yeah.
Maybe you need to change your blend.
No. See, I'll share with you with great admiration and great conviction that I've only now recently appreciated that I've always loved dark chocolate, but now to have had dark chocolate with sea salt,
even never had that before.
No, even much better.
Absolutely. Most things with sea salt is better than.
Yep.
But all I'm saying is you need something.
Yeah. What else do you think?
I don't know.
And why would I need that?
Going with it today? I don't know, but I don't know what were your expectations.
Well, if you could read the novel Great Expectations, maybe we should have hopeful anticipation. Maybe we should look at life with a sense of exhilaration.
What is hope in Cayman? Okay, all right, go ahead, keep on going.
Why, how do I put this? We look at our fathers, right? Literally, our biological fathers. And maybe for some, because of the ages we are, it may be our grandfathers. We may have within our lineage those seafarers who have traveled the globe and sailed the high seas, as we are told. And they come back with stories, some of which probably have been exaggerated, but many, I think, have been underrated, underplayed.
Rare and point.
All right.
With a little flair here and there.
There you go.
Human condition.
All right.
What do you call it? Poetic license.
There you go. And yet we live in this land, right? We're told 140 plus nationalities. We probably don't even know how many there are. But we say it with such such a passing, almost sometimes unappreciative prose. The idea that we can, without any effort, simply cast a net and be ensnared by so many. And in that sort of enmeshing, we can learn and we can see why the seafarers travel the seas and return with such wisdom and such, can I use the word passion? So with vision, drive, and appreciation. But yet we let so many, including our own, devalue who we are and what we have, belittle what's before us as opposed to, recognizing.
Never you cry and moan because you allowed somebody, even your very own, to quantify you. That can't happen.
No man.
Not happen.
We
I
become.
don't mean you. I don't mean you individually.
No.
I mean anybody.
Exactly. But we limit ourselves by the labels that, are
That's
assigned.
when people quantify you. They don't limit them.
There you go.
The wisest of us,
Mhm.
God bless.
Amen.
Anything that you can, written on a page or spoken to us, that we can hear, that we can learn from. If I can learn the same thing, you're not piece better than me.
Yeah.
You know who our master artist is? Yeah, well, he's better than me and you and plenty more.
Yep.
Because God touched him.
Yep.
Me? Anything that you could learn, I might learn it as fast, and I might even understand it as thoroughly, but anything that you could learn, I could learn.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's better than me. And we cannot make people who don't like us quantify us. That's control.
What's that song? Anything you do, I can do better.
And I believe that.
And I think sometimes when we sing that, say that, hear it, it may be with disdain and contempt, and it may have actually been said as such. But if we look at it as a way, wait a minute, it's possible because it's been done. Let me see if I can improve upon it. Not to set about to undermine someone or to even worse yet, get ahead at the expense of that someone, but to say, okay, I think back to when we watched sprints, right? The track and field races, and
you know who I'm thinking about? Thinking exactly the same thing. And then I catch him, I can't run with him.
Yep.
But I'll go out and watch him and say, you were touched.
Yep.
But anybody that I could run with, no, I don't want to hear nothing from you. I'm going to watch the master. Remember, when I was young, they had a saying, they called them, this is Jamaican saying, granted test class, meaning that you can't get no better than that. So I'll go and watch a granted test class and revel in the reality that you are better than me, my friend. But as for the rest of us, you can't quantify me.
But that's the thing, you see. We have this belief that in order to get ahead, we have to undermine or step on others, right? And yet, we complain. I keep telling people it's only lonely at the top because you failed to bring someone along for the ride to share in the success so they can be there in the celebration, right? And it's hard for
but
me.
You see, I think all of these situations are strategically set when they give us the map forward.
Yeah.
And the map forward, you got it and you can make it, but you ain't carrying anybody with you because it's not gonna be 2 on that drop, let alone 4 or 6.
Yeah. I mean,
you go alone, and you still depend on me just to be a human being, just to live. You still depend on me. You can't carry you. When you come up here, me and you'll talk if I feel like talking to you.
Think about the Cayman we grew up in. We can remember when the currency was introduced. We can remember when there was a system of barter. We can remember when we would go to, well, let's call it the shop, right?
That's
and
exactly what it was.
We bought things on trust, not on credit. On trust. Trust me this, right? The allotment came and you paid. And depending, I guess, I just think of my own personal experience, depending on which child and how old, you would get there with the note, you gave it to the person filled the basket, and you walked the road back home, right? And you didn't get anything that wasn't on the note. It was all handled in a particular way that spoke to the...
You were grown up by the time you were 7.
Yep.
Do that.
Yep. And you understood. I remember, my sisters laugh at it now, but it wasn't fun at the time for me, I thought I was a big boy and I could ride to the shop, and my mama sent me for 2 sweet peppers. I thought she said 2 pounds. Oh, you laughing too? And the nice lady there said, Sonny, you sure your mama want 2 pounds? I said, yes, mom. I wrote it down myself. She said, no, because, Miss Carly only wants 2. But I insisted, and she said, okay. Well, put it this way, we had a lot of sweet peppers for a long time. 2 pounds. Nowadays, but I remember that. And it was
Nowadays, we would have stuffed them and made a meal, like twice, 2 meals out of it. But
Yeah.
them days they wasn't doing that.
2 pounds of sweet peppers. You know how much money that was? Anyway, but the thing is that you start to learn, and you learn humility quick. You become respectful of others, and if you're smart enough, you learn how to become respectable, so that you can become respected. You know. But I think that's.
But you know something, we need to have some plaques up by the airport. And when they come on our own airplane, they need to be given papers that he who can read English and another few other languages, you know, common around the area. But we don't put our expectations out there. We don't put our values out there. We don't do anything like that.
Yeah.
But when the people come to our country and they bring their own values and they're more aggressive, like I said the other day, about behavior, you know, we get trampled on. Our values don't shine through. We only hear about the mankind from certain people that that rubs my teeth on edge. You only hear about being mankind, but then you don't know my values. You don't know what brought me to the place where one of our own could define us, and say, well, you know, that's mankind.
Think of 2 things, right? One is, to me, is language, as you referenced. And it's not just those who probably have a first language that isn't English, but even some who do. But step aside from their language, just look at the Cayman context, right? There are probably 2 words specifically, and then by extension.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, they're absolutely crucial, right? But look at how we have allowed names of places and little phrases,
don't talk
idioms.
about my road out in front of you. Don't talk about my Elgin Avenue. Sunday, you know, where Carla Watson showed me Elgin Avenue in the 62s. That woman showed me Elgin Avenue in the 62, early 60s. And where Elgin Avenue is, it's not there. Then people chop down trees to get in their yard. They must know what they want, name their area, and it's not there.
Well, that whole, you know, but it's not just, how do I say it? Because I'm going to inquire further. We've seen it come to pass, even as our land maps, as it were, are being redrawn. The places and the names that you were there.
You know, I'm out of Clifford. You hang up now.
No, okay, well, you hang up then.
100 number.
You hang up now. What a good time for a break, all right?
Yeah.
Always appreciative. Okay.
No problem, but oh gosh, tell me when the project going on. I know you can get the message to me, and you know how to. I just want to know that it's going on.
Yeah, I have actually now been formally given, you know, the number, so we can pass it along.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Have a good one. It's gonna be open line here. What's on your mind? What do you want to share with us? We certainly want to hear from you. 949-8037, 1-800-534-8255. We'll pause and take a short break. When we come back, we invite you to rejoin us. Please stay tuned.
Things just got a bit hotter on the island. Come in today and order the new spicy Korean subs at Subway. They're sweet, spicy, and especially satisfying. Stop in and try the pulled pork with spicy Korean sauce, or the chicken with spicy Korean sauce. And you can message WhatsApp at 929-4658. Order online or use Let's Eat or the Bento app. The spicy Korean subs at Subway in 2 flavors, extra saucy and extra spicy. Subway, eat fresh.
So why is a computer so smart? Because it has a motherboard.
Mother's Day is coming up. Do the smart thing. Stop by Savannah Pharmacy with a beautiful collection of bags and beauty products or housewares for outdoor dining. Make the smart decision. Get all your Mother's Day purchases at Savannah Pharmacy in Countryside Shopping Village or call 946-3336. Mom would be proud.
We are in an age of exponential change. The world is experiencing a technology boom where innovation is at an all-time high. What does this mean for small island nations? How can we adapt to the emerging digital revolution? Join 900 delegates from 3 Caribbean countries at one regional event to tackle the theme, Global Digital Disruption, Threat or Opportunity. The virtual RF Economic Outlook Conference happens on May 6th. Register today at rfeoc.com.
It's time again for the annual Meals on Wheels Orange You Glad Sunset Gala. So, break out your fancy orange outfit, find your little black dress, grab an orange bow tie, or simply show off your orange accessories. A night of elegance not to be missed on May 22nd at the historic Grand Old House, South Church Street. Enjoy cocktails, canopies, a 3-course meal, live and silent auctions, special guests, live entertainment by the John Gray Elite String Ensemble, and the talented Erica Asai. Dance the night away. Tickets are $200 per person, and tables for any size group can be reserved. Book your tables today by emailing info@mealsonwheels.ky or call 345-769-1974. Orange attire is encouraged. See you at sunset at the 8th annual Meals on Wheels Orange You Glad Sunset Gala. Sponsored by Dolphin Point Club, Ogier, McAlpine, Calderwood, Health City Cayman Islands, and media sponsor Breeze FM and Radio Cayman.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waging to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back, and thanks for joining us as we invite you to be a part of our, today's edition of Talk Today is going to be some open line. Now, tomorrow, a good friend Shane Noby Edwards will sit with us, and as we invite callers to be a part of that discussion, I thought today would be a good time to hear directly from you. So much is happening. You probably watched the press briefing yesterday, understanding the government's intent to continue on a very, very safe, very sensible, and a very methodical approach to moving the country and the economy forward. I believe if we as the citizens and the voters primarily would engage with our elected government, would ensure that even the appointed government understands that the populace is there to be supportive, but is there also there to act as that ultimate arbiter, that check and balance, as it were, on governance. Perhaps we will extend that to all of the organizations in our country, whether it's the banks or other financial institutions, or whether it's other avenues in the private sector, whether it's the non-governmental organizations, the civic organizations, the service clubs, the social clubs, the sports clubs. They're all, impacted and affected by us as we interact with them, but their actions and inactions likewise affect and impact us as well. Now, an engaged and informed citizenry can also be one that moves our society forward in a healthy, stable way, not just financially, not just politically, but socially. That level of stability is imperative for an improved quality of life. We want to raise the standard of living. That is not only by the amount of money we make, but the money we make that allows us to have a sizable disposable income, that money that after our bills are paid we can do something with, save, or we can have some discretionary spending for the things that we would want to do, not just what we need to do. The more disposable income is, perhaps the better we may think our standard of living should be. But if we've got a lot of money and we live in a society where we don't feel safe, we live in gated communities, we have armed bodyguards, security systems that may, not just use the latest technology and gadgetry, but may employ people and other personal protection from dogs to who knows what. But what if a society you can walk freely, not being worried or concerned about being somehow interfered with by others, either kidnapped or worse? Let's go to our phones. Hey, good afternoon, welcome, thanks for calling.
Good afternoon, Sterling.
Good afternoon, ma'am. How are you today?
I'm getting there.
Feeling better?
Getting there. Yeah.
All right. I'm glad to hear that. This is what's important. Yes, ma'am.
Yes. I was listening to you just talking about the U.S. and then listen to OCS today when he before he closed out his show in regards to a caller and so forth and so forth. I will not get into it. But it reflects me back when I was in the U.S. I went to the U.S. to live for a period of time. And my son's father at the told me, he said, you're in America.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you call anybody a nigger. Anybody say boo to you, you say boo back. But you don't be the first to throw a lick. You make them hit you first. You have the case.
Mm-hmm.
So anywhere you go to sit, always make sure you're facing the door
Mm-hmm.
so you can see what is coming. You understand? That's what I said the other day, that the officers, when they go to a restaurant, they're sitting facing the door
Mm-hmm.
of restaurants in the U.S. and wherever else, you know?
Right.
But I say all that to say this, that, you know, I heard him calling his friends, nigger please,
Mm-hmm.
but I was not allowed to, to say it.
Right.
Because I was in another man's country, and not that he wanted me to come then hear them saying it, and I must pick it up and
Right,
use
right.
it as I walk along wherever.
Right.
So living up there for that period of time, I watch my boundaries and
Mm-hmm.
I watch my words, and I respect as I went along, because you give respect to receive respect.
Respect begets respect. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in another man's country.
Right.
So we need a little bit of that here in Cayman, to the fact that people feel that they can come here and say and do as they please.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have a different generation of Caymanians now that they're saying, well, they can come here and do and say what they're saying. I can do it and say it too. But that's not a good example, because they're messing up themselves for
Right.
the future life of the young generation. So we need to nip something in the bud, because Sterling, we always get on the radio and talk about we need to take Cayman back. But how?
But back from whom?
Huh?
Back from whom?
Say that again?
We say we're going to take it back, but from whom are we taking?
People keep saying we need to take Cayman back, and I want to know who we're going to take it back from.
Mm-hmm.
Because we got rules and regulations in the government, and they're not being exercised, and they're not being thrown out at people. And they go to court, and they still end up either losing or winning, and and a lot of people say all they got to do is make one phone call, and they're out of the situation that they're in with the court system, or even the police give them a ticket. They can call up the police department and get the ticket destroyed, or just give the person a warning, and
Right.
blah 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 blah.
So some people can do things and get away with it. They can act with impunity because of.
They can get away with a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
Here in Cayman, I say, because let me tell you something.
Mm-hmm.
America got a lot of laws, and I try to watch a lot of TV that is educational. I watch the court cases. We can learn something from when it comes to justice and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
To know that every law that they have, they try in their best to bring it forward and use that law rule against you if you did something that law that is in that law. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
We just let it slide, and that needs to be stopped to a degree, because in this thing about we need to take back some of Cayman, we will never be able to take back any of Cayman, period, because the way that Cayman is being run, past, present, future government, I don't believe in no government in particular,
Right.
but they all had their hand in it.
Mm-hmm.
It all makes everybody feel that they can come here, say as they say, and do as they do, and it's all okay. No, it's not okay. We got rules and regulations. Why punish a little Caymanian for this sticky ganja, and then they can let somebody come here and disrespect us on the radio or in the grocery store or anywhere?
But even as stick ganja, if argument's sake, just as an example, if the Caymanian, the West Bay boy, for instance, with a stick of ganja is in prison, but the other person, whether they're from Canada, Jamaica, China, Australia, wherever they're from, the same stick isn't giving the same punishment.
Treatment, not getting the same punishment. It's not fair. It's not fair to throw us in jail, but yet they're too good to be thrown in jail. Even with the COVID situation, when you had a few there that was doing their foolishness, they knew that we had our rules and regulations in regards to COVID, and they still trusted them to come in here, and they tried in their best to break it to their liking, because then, we're going to break it because because in their laws here is pretty easy. They're not going to do us nothing. They're going to send us back home and yakety yak, yakety yak. No, it don't work like that. In Sterling,
yes,
I just want to say that we need to bring our laws forward and implement them and charge the person the way it's supposed to be charged and stop favoring people because a lot of favoritism is in Cayman only for some people. And I want to say that I see where the Ritz-Carlton going to be doing some remodeling at their hotel. I mean, Sterling, they can afford to go and remodel that hotel because they had to pay American taxes to go and remodel that hotel and buy back all those furnitures and yakety yak and yakety yak. They probably would have cry ice cream. You understand? Because it was built here, no taxes. They probably paid the stamp duty and that was all. If they ever paid the full amount of it, I don't know. I don't want to get into that. But the fact of the matter is, if you're going to take down a 7-floor hotel, you need to come out here and find out who I can help with some of those things that are in there. You got a lot of needed people here, or not as much as say that you have to give it to them, but I'm quite sure you can find a few homes. You can offer them a table, I wouldn't say the mattress, a dresser. I wouldn't say the TV because the TV is probably no more modern, no time modern TV. Nobody wants them no more. It's not flat screen. Nobody wants a TV in their home these days. So, but just to come out and say, you know what? Let's see what we can do to citizens of these islands because they have been so good to us and we live amongst them and all that kind of good stuff. But they got to sell everything that they can sell. What they can't sell, I guess they'll take it to the dump and mash it up because then the insurance that they have is going to pay for everything. But yet, government going to get practically nothing out of it because there's no taxes to be paid. No taxes coming out of this remodeling. You understand? They're going to bring in their containers. They're going to probably get free concession. But they will pay some tax in America when they purchase the stuff, depending. It's not necessarily neither. They're coming in exempt in America when they showing that they come in, they're sending out under a container to whatever island or state, other state to send it to. You understand?
Okay.
So I just want to say to my Cayman people, we got a long road to go, and if we don't, I can't even say take back the country because that's going to be a hell of a job to try to do because I think we go a little bit too far. And, it is what it is right now. And I just pray that we could just come together and try to love each other a little bit more.
That would be a better thing. There you go.
That'd be a lot better. That'd be a lot better right now. Try and take Cayman back. Let's love each other and help each other. Be there for each other.
All right. Thanks very much, huh?
Right. You take care.
You too. I guess we'll have to pause now and take a break. Is that the plan? Well, we'll invite you to call us. So stay tuned for Talk Today.
Busy, busy, busy. Feel like there's not just enough hours in the day. Savannah Pharmacy, service to make your life easier. Now you can WhatsApp your prescription order to 929-5045. And pickup is just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours including Sundays and holidays. WhatsApp your prescription order to 929-5045. Savannah Pharmacy, wholesome values with modern conveniences.
Freedom, Cayman Brac. Freedom, Little Cayman. Soft breezes, blue waters, no traffic. Unwind and rejuvenate your mind, body, and soul. Sister Island Staycations, a taste of freedom. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Why work with a Suriba agent? We can tell you that those letters represent a proven understanding of the real estate market in the Cayman Islands. But it also means so much more than that. Our trained Suriba agents are committed to ethics, integrity, and excellence of practice. It's all about confidence, knowing you are working with a qualified Suriba agent. As members of Suriba, your trust is our promise. To find a Suriba agent today or to search thousands of listens, visit Suriba.com. Suriba, the mark of excellence in real estate.
Talk today.
But I do have some questions.
Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waging to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back and thanks for joining us. It is open line here as we invite you to call and go straight to the phones. Hey, good afternoon, welcome, thanks for calling.
Good afternoon, Dwayne.
Hey, good afternoon, man. How are you?
I'm fine.
All right, good to hear from you, man. What's on your mind today, man?
Dwayne, I listened to the video with Charles Whitaker speak out about his issue. And the main issue is here that the police is being biased in this case, and they refuse to take a statement from Charles.
But let me ask, I mean, it is always great, I think, to be able for us to wade into uncharted territory, sometimes even wade into known waters. But if something is potentially going to unfold and the police are involved, do you think at the outset that it would be responsible and sensible for us to maybe engage publicly in such discussion?
I think, Dwayne, in this country, it's very sad. I give you example that during this election, there is a man who come many times, threaten me. I video him. I give the video to the police. The police officer in charge is B.C. McLaughlin in Georgetown Police Station. I called the police station over maybe 30 times, asking this police officer to return the call to me. He never called until today. He never pressed charges, because I pressed charges against Joseph Christian, who's threatened me many times. The whole country, over 15,000 view the video, get by the whole country see this man is threatening me. And what a police officer who is a good police officer, I don't want to say his name, told me that an MLA elected this time did call somebody in the police station and told them to forget about the case.
So if you have that, if you have that level of information, are you willing to make such an allegation? Why not make it directly to the police, to the Anti-Corruption Commission, to the Complaints Commissioner? Elevate it, because if you are aggrieved or something, then wouldn't you want to have justice served? In the public domain.
The trust in this police in this country, I want you to do a survey. A survey.
Okay.
There is a lot of untrust in the police in this country.
The distrust. Okay.
Unfortunately, there is a lot of cases slot under the carpet is gone because somebody know somebody in the police station.
But that's probably the same in countries like the UK. It will only be the city of London, for instance, but it's probably that way the globe over. But if it's here,
I mean, the commissioner of police needs to do a better job. I think today we are questioning the reliability of this commissioner of police.
On what grounds? On what grounds?
In the ground that we see that, for example, Dwayne, we have over 300 or 400 police officers in this country, and we have a traffic department. When we go home from work in the evening, we don't see one police officer from that traffic department even direct traffic.
Okay, but hang on, let me ask you. I mean, and I hear your complaint, but why do we want to see the police? I mean, wouldn't a society be healthier, safer, stronger, and better if we didn't have police? I keep asking that question. Why is it that we want people to police us? Why can't we as citizens be sensible, be civil, be mature, be responsible, be considerate, be honest, be helpful? If we navigate our streets, if we're driving our cars, can we not drive in a sensible way that we don't need police directing the traffic?
Yeah, but Dwayne, you can't.
Sorry?
You can't say all people are the same. And
No.
And people are frustrated in the morning when
Okay.
they go into work.
Okay.
And they're frustrated in the evening because of this traffic.
Right.
And the problem is we see those traffic departments with the bikes,
So-
4 wheels. they going always in the beach looking at the woman with bikini.
Maybe that's what they're doing, right? Maybe it's the helicopters tour. But before we get to that, that's a separate and distinct issue, right? If that is what is happening with the resources, whether it's the police, whether it's the guy who's been given a boat to patrol the shores, whether it's the guy with a bicycle, let's come back to that if you want to. But let's go back to society's responsibility and us as individual. So let me ask a question. All of a sudden, we magically found all the money we need. We've got land. We've built brand new roads. I mean, these roads can take us where we want to go in quick time. Do you think it would ever come a time when those roads are congested again because we bought more cars, put more people?
I mean, you see the population of this country, if we say yes or no, or the government wants or don't want, the population is growing.
Yeah.
People
but who's driving that?
In numbers, and I think the thinking now, I mean, for example, government need to start put some of those departments of government in East End, North Side, like, you know, the licensing department in Breakers or...
Right, so we can decentralize,
like those,
right?
I know that there is ways you can take out, for example, this cargo port. It used to be they want to put it in East End. I think we need to start think about going out of Georgetown and put things out.
Right,
you know,
but
the Eastern District.
That may sound good, right? And respectful, that might work to decentralize some of the services. We can even use technology that allow us to not have to even travel away from our desk, whether that's in our homes or...
I mean, the premier and the deputy premier are from, let us say, from that side.
But they're from Cayman
Island.
At least that's what we need to look at.
They need to look at issues to develop that side of the island. It's where the government need to put a stop in any development in the Georgetown 7 Mile Beach area and start look at encouraging development in this side of the
on
island.
The face of it,
just going back to the main subject, which is the police need to always, you know, be justice to people.
Right.
And I think the choosing of the officers, especially from certain nationalities, I think we need to think wisely where we bring the officers
But
from.
would it not be, I hear you, but would it not be better that whenever we are recruiting police or teachers, whether we recruit the very best that we can, and we ensure, as you said, that it is not only that we recruit but attract, but we can retain, and we are looking for a particular, for one of a better word, skill set. But are we now saying that that's not available in some nationalities or it's only available in others?
Yeah, I mean, Dwayne, we know there are certain countries you bring police from, and the same. For example, years ago, there is an officer from Nigeria was drunk in the school zone, crashed his car, and nothing come out of the issue.
But is that because he was a Nigerian or he was a police officer or just the timing? I mean, would not that
I mean, we need to start look at these issues and start see some officers being punished for being lazy, not to answer their call. When I called the station 30 times, leave a message and send email to the officer.
So, to your point,
and he don't until today. He don't respond to my call.
Okay, but to your point, right? Sorry to cut you, but to your point, if that happens either in the police or in the government department or a private sector entity, if that happens and a society is willing to accept it, that is on us as a society. Now let's use it for the government, whatever department. If there are government entities that act as oversight when things happen in government that we think shouldn't happen, they're costly, they're not efficient, they're not this and that. The society needs to respond to make sure that these things aren't the things that become the norm and they're accepted. So again,
when look at, you call government building, you need a department. For example, you need any office. I challenge you. I challenge anyone in this island. Call the government building. Maybe the front desk, after you tired 10 times, they answer you. They transfer you to office. And I challenge you, if any of those offices answer their phone.
Right, but could that not apply to?
If you call government building and for any department.
Okay, I hear you, but hang on, right? What about calling a private sector entity, a bank, or any private sector entity? How many times, A, do you have to wait for it to be answered, and B, increasingly we're told that when that call is answered, it may be in some faraway land. It's not necessarily answered at the building across the street from where we are. So it happens in the private sector as it's allegedly happening in the government as well.
Yeah, I know, Dwayne.
But again, is that what a society is willing to accept?
Very sad what happening in the police.
Yeah, man. Well,
we want to see this case of Charles Whitaker. He get justice and they get his statement and he press his charges against this woman. And
Amjad, respectfully, let's leave that. And when the society is not willing to accept injustices, is when society will have justice served. Respectfully, leave us be. Let us pause and take a break. When we come back, what do you want to say? Well, share with us.
Satisfaction is guaranteed 24 hours a day, whether it's music or information.
From Grand Cayman to Cayman Brac to Little Cayman, we've got you covered.
You ever hear a thing like that?
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman. Your voice, your choice. Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
With your latest headlines, I'm Shanda Gallego from Radio Cayman's newsroom. Government reported the results of 235 COVID-19 tests on Wednesday. All were negative. The total number of COVID-19 vaccines administered to date is 69,299, with some 50% of the population having completed the 2-dose course. Turning to international news now, at least 25 people, including a police officer, have been killed in a shootout in Rio de Janeiro, according to local media. The shootout took place during a police operation in a Brazilian shack. City police launched the operation after receiving reports that drug traffickers were recruiting children for their gang. 2 passengers on a metro train were hit by bullets but survived. Police in the Brazilian city confirmed the death of one of their officers. A statement on Facebook said he honored the profession he loved and will be missed. The European Union has said it is willing to discuss a U.S.-backed proposal to waive patents on COVID-19 vaccines. It marked a shift in position from the EU, which has previously opposed the waiver, but some member states went further, with France president among those to give it their full support. Supporters say the plan will allow more manufacturers around the world to produce the life-saving vaccines. And the U.S. Secretary of State has told the BBC that the U.S. will respond to reckless or aggressive acts by Russia. Antony Blinken said the U.S. was focused on actions such as the treatment of opposition figure Alexei Navalny, the SolarWinds hack, and election interference. Mr. Blinken was in the U.K. for a meeting of foreign ministers of the G7 group of industrialized nations. Those are your latest headlines here on Radio Cayman. I'm Shanda Gallego.
For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back, and thanks for sharing with us. It's open line. Got a couple of callers in the queue. Let's go and join them. Hey, thank you for calling, and good afternoon. Good afternoon. All right. Sometimes, straight to the next one. Hey, welcome. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Hello, Sterling Rambo.
Rambo. What's happening, man?
4 years in a row. Right here, man. Right here.
Go right ahead, man.
Keep up, man. I switching lanes today. First of all, what we're talking about now. Mode of operation or modus operandi now. What's there in the U.S. continent? IRS, internal system, right? Service, they monitor the money, the currencies in funds. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like I say the conference now, they say we have like 600 billion in our coffers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those reserves. So yes, when I call in, I'll tell you about the salvable. Money is stuck in pay back and the deficit.
Mm-hmm.
Or in debts. So I won't know like what we have in long term down the pipeline.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? I'm there.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? You understand? And it's different now. I call about now the vaccine.
Mm-hmm.
Those are
right.
Those that experiment now.
Take your time, man. I'll listen, man. We good together.
All right. Like, say for instance, now we get a new batch of vaccine. Now, what about the ones remaining here?
Uh-huh.
Right, the remaining ones. Say some terror country like Honduras on the lake or somewhere that in need of it and necessity of it.
Yeah.
Okay? That's my opinion. I feel like.
So for the vaccine, say that again, please.
Like say for instance, now we get a batch of vaccine on the island soon. Batch. The ones that that we have here now that we don't need them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they might expire at a certain per date.
Mm-hmm.
Said the country that in need of it.
Mm-hmm.
That they like some Central America country that need of it. You know, Jamaica got they got the Indian one, Jamaica.
Mm-hmm.
Vaccine. So said some terror country, Central America like Honduras or the lake.
Mm-hmm.
That's my opinion.
Share so okay.
Because we get new batch from UK, United Kingdom.
Yeah.
It's not work about the herb thing now. Yeah. That's my topic now. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want it early on, right? I'm on lunch break now.
Okay.
Like the Cayman Islands, they put you down. Or yeah, we had in certain nationals that do it. Just about the certain head. Like nada, nothing. But that down Cayman, they'll put you down. They judge you. It's sounding like I'm very passionate about it. I tell you, I spent around 50. 500. I keep it for myself. I spend $500 for the draw, right? $500 for the blueberry cigarette paper, and $50 for the residue of my scissors. $150, and I paid it right away.
Mm-hmm.
The judge will let me go, right? But the bailiff that he in the same boat as me, go to court too.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, I know they better reimburse some money. I don't get that, but the herb be free up.
Mm-hmm.
My uncle like this. Give me like death with that. Be done with that until I take my last breath. Sterling, you need to free up the stuff though. The whole world recognized it. Came on now become some police state when it was a simple thing. Into big tactics. Free up the herbs. Look at Mexico, Sterling. Mexico recognize it. They got heroin problem. Cocaine problem. Yeah, there's a cocaine problem.
Right.
Free up. See?
You know, as well.
Right.
Now, just listening to you and wondering to what extent, you know, we are prepared to engage in some of the things that you're sharing and looking at it from the perspective of the financial implications of doing or not doing. Equally, the idea that here we are in this particular space and not understanding that it is a cost and consequence to our actions and inactions, right? So the herb thing, as you speak to it, we're seeing, well, I'm not reading a lot in the financial sort of markets, but we know that some of those, for want of a better word, tobacco companies are pivoting. We hear that they've acquired some of the marijuana, or whatever it's called, companies. Some are expanding in other markets to try to change their profile and to reposition themselves, right? Do you see this country being, you know, willing to maybe capitalize on what our market is like, what it is that the country has to do relative to protecting its people, not just against the vulnerabilities of some use or abuse of a substance, but also investors who may want to come in and use a particular resource, whether it's the infrastructure that we've developed, maybe the lands that we have that are arable, and cause greater profits at the continued expense of the country.
Like biggest here, their money is arbitrary. on the herb market. Okay, like my Uncle Abel's campaign, I button, we could recognize it. You know, say like you eat it no long, you consume it. Okay.
Okay.
You know, so then and now, obviously,
yeah, man.
So across the world, the price of alcohol decrease in tobacco because you go to herbs. Like say for instance, Canada.
Okay.
You know, you need to lies out and look into that. Right. So now we need to take our head like above and look above the horizon. Long term gain planning. No last one here, Sterling. Next time when I called early on, I mentioned the IRS. That is the US talking it.
Yeah.
They got budget. Their money is in taxation. Because you know certain red states, certain blue states, like the south the US, the tax higher. You know, you go. I learned at Catholic school. Okay? So, like I said again, the herbs, a lot of money is in it. Right? A lot of currency in it. I mean, I know, came on, we based on Satan Church. I know, Sterling, the lady called in early on. You say, boy, you wish you could take back came on. Those days gone. Those nostalgia days gone. The question. The question, Bobo.
Okay.
You got to live and learn, adapt, and move on.
All right, man.
You know, like me know. So I don't cry for milk enough. I don't cry for nothing. I cry my brain and my heart. You know what I tell you? Don't have good fun.
Yeah, man. Hey, thanks very much, you know. And enjoy your afternoon. Hopefully get a chat with you when you have time again, all right? As we perhaps look at our last comment, you know, we see other countries looking at their particular social and political landscape, and they start to question. Maybe some would say, well, that was the impetus for Brexit, but it's not. That's the only experience there. But for some reason, when people in a particular small developing nation start to express concerns about the pace of development, the population growth, we see in Cayman, for instance, growing concerns about the cost of living. Some have repeated what they've seen printed. Oh, Cayman's the most expensive place. Well, is it? And there is no doubt that it is expensive. But is there value for money? If it isn't, then there's a greater question to be asked and solutions and answers to be had. When we look at the available housing stock, the cost and accessible sort of avenues that people have to pursue in order to get to home ownership, is it one that is going to allow people to literally have a sense of ownership in their country? Without that, then maybe there's some serious issues that are going to rear an ugly head down the road. It's open line 949-8037, 1-800-534-8255. Or you can WhatsApp 925-3261. We'll join our callers in a second to take on more. I'm told there's a break first, Mr. Fox. Is that how we go? Aye. Let's get there. Appreciate very much the hard work. So stay tuned for Talk Today.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of Tourism and Transport. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
Captain Charles Gerald Kirkconnell, 1891 to 1961. Charles Gerald Kirkconnell was born and raised on Cayman Brac. He was married to Olivine Elizabeth Eden of Grand Cayman, and the couple had 3 children. Captain Charlie was one of the founding brothers of the shipping and merchandising firm of R.B. Kirkconnell and Brothers Limited. Many Caymanian seamen were trained on Kirk vessels and later worked for national bulk carriers. Captain Charlie was also a shipbuilder who built the largest ship ever to be built in the Cayman Islands, the M.V. Kirksons. He and the late Bertie Foster were instrumental in helping to build the airport on Cayman Brac, which they both helped to finance. The clearing of the airstrip was done entirely by hand. Captain Charlie financed most of the houses that were built by seamen employed by NBC, as there was no bank on the Brac. He served as a vestryman for the Sister Islands in the Assembly of Justices and Vestry. Captain Charles Gerald Kirkconnell.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of Tourism and Transport. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
Wouldn't it have been grand if you had purchased land 30 years ago? It may not be 2020, but a perfect vision has never been more clear. Kim Brack and Little Cayman, poised for growth with an eye on the future. Your land, your history, your future. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
At Subway, we know a meal isn't quite complete without a side, and that's why we're introducing waffle fries. Subway's waffle fries are oven-baked softness with extra crispy edge, giving a satisfying taste to be enjoyed as is or in any of Subway's dipping sauces. Order waffle fries as a side item for $2 or make it a meal deal. Subway, eat fresh.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back, and thanks for sharing with us as we go straight to the phones. Hey, welcome. Thank you for calling. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Oh, I'm fine, thank you. I just want to say that I heard the speaker talking about the policemen here in the island.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say that we are proud of our policemen. Because when we listen to the news of the States and see how policemen are being killed, you have to remember those policemen have families that they left behind, especially children.
Mm-hmm.
So we are proud of our policemen. And like the Lord said, we must give thanks in everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe now that we are a blessed island. We are very blessed. And our people need to give God thanks. So we are blessed.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all I want to say. And another thing I want to ask is, where is Miss Susan? We missed her with the devotional heart in the early morning.
Say that again, please. I just missed you. Where is
Miss Susan? We missed her. And the early heart devotion in the morning.
Okay, well, Miss Susan is just off for a bit, and I tell you, her work, we've certainly missed her around here, but even as employees who also listen, but listeners in general, her morning devotional is just uplifting,
Yes, it is very much. I listen to her every morning, and it's a blessing. It's a really blessing.
Well, I tell you what, it's good to know that we are, have colleagues who, our listeners think of so highly, and even though it's not me, it makes me feel good to know that we work with people who are loved in that way. So that is so uplifting. All right.
Yeah.
I'm making a note to sort of message it on to her that she's been asking,
Yeah, the songs that you sing are very anointing. They're very anointing. They are a blessing.
They are, man. They are. And I think that time of morning as well, especially as the summer rolls on, that the sun is up higher, much earlier.
Because we, as the older Caymanians, we're used to those old times, like songs. Sunday, there was a lady came from church, and I had my radio on, and they were singing the old time songs. And I mean, she just joined in, and you could see the anointing upon her. Because, there's some churches that they're not singing these old time songs.
It is true, man. It is true. Now, with that in mind, though, do you think that the changing population, that not just the pacing of the growth or the people, but even us ourselves, as we look back to what maybe our parents or our grandparents did, are we equally willing to do those things? Are we doing those things ourselves? The morning devotion, the evening meals with the families, the time that we're spending, the fellowship, for want of a better word.
Right. This is one good thing. You see, because I speak for myself. I have members in my family that they're not serving the Lord as they should. But I turned that radio up high so that they can hear these lovely songs and devotions that we have in the morning. And, they're not going to listen to you, but they will listen to other people
that is why I miss her very much.
But is that then that when we're looking at it, man, are we so much caught up in life that we're now losing the quality of our life? We're stepping away from the things that may have put us where we are. The practices, not just the rituals, not just the traditions and the like, but those values that we had, that we held dear to us.
Right.
Well, I appreciate it. Anything else you want to share with us?
Like there's families, you see them, the children, they get to the table, or they don't even go to the table. They get before the TV and eat their meals. They never say this prayer or anything. But I am one woman. I don't care where I'm at. If I'm at a restaurant or where I'm at, I always give God thanks for my meal.
Mm-hmm.
And in the morning when I wake, first thing before I put my foot down, I give thanks.
Amen.
But it's another day.
Mm.
And these are the things that our young people are not doing.
Mm-hmm. But is it because we are not, as their parents, as the adults, we're not setting that example? They're not seeing us pray, whether we're at a restaurant or at a dinner table, whether we're with company or whether we're by ourselves. Okay. All right. Thanks very much, huh? All right. The caller inspires us, and I'm glad that we will take some time. Let's take the other caller. Good afternoon. Welcome. Thanks for calling.
Starting day number one, you Kingston.
How are you, sir?
I'm not too good at right down here in Somalia with you. I just got out of the hospital day for yesterday.
Oh man, I hope you're well.
Well, I just told you I wasn't too good, so you go ask me for help.
I pray that you'll get better. It all gets
well.
well.
The right manner you need to. You see, you're just trying to set an example. I'm setting it for you now.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then the whole problem with these things nowadays, nobody's saying the Bible no mind. The Bible's coming true. Everything you say is happening.
Mm.
There is look here. Pick the cake to the photo on. There's sometimes sitting not following them.
Right.
And that's how I feel about it. I just want to rub that in them because, I don't know, this whole place came and I don't know, it's just going down, far as I see it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just following the outside world, and that's it. Anyone can come over the window, or we can't go no because there's nothing around out there.
But why are we so willing to follow?
That is what bugs me. Now, when you find the answer, you let me know.
Is this a saying that you're familiar with? Follow fashion, bring broke neck?
Yeah.
So if we are aware of that, it's not something that we know. It's not we're not saying that you shouldn't borrow good examples and try to emulate, other things. But if we're following something that isn't working, or for that place or the thing that we're following, how do we think it's going to be better for us if we don't make, proper tweaks and adjustments to it?
It's not going to be that better because half of the time when you complain about things, no one looking into it.
Mm-hmm.
When you make a complaint, everybody start get up and hate you and everything. Say, heck with them. Say what you got to say and do what you got to do.
Mm. But if you did that, let's say on two sides of the equation. First one, the thing before you isn't good enough. You don't think that it works well, so you're going to make adjustments to it. You got to do what you have to do, right? You think people are going to look at you and say, yep, man, paddling his own catboat, he's doing the right thing. Or will they take a different view? Not necessarily be so complimentary.
They can take any kind of view from me. I don't care. I do what I got to do and I do the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to go follow no crowd. I don't see what the others got to do, but like what I told you a while ago, the Bible calls for it in the last day.
Yeah.
What was one shall be again, and every bit of it is coming through day by day.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Nobody can take that out of my head, not even you.
Well.
No disrespect, no.
No, sir. No,
come that just you talking about.
No, I appreciate it. And this is why I always value you and many others who are direct and honest and very candid. what is it that we're told as we reminded the scriptures? In the end, good will be bad and bad will be good.
Yes, sir.
Right? I pass by sometimes, and a friend of mine coined it the one-eye monster, and so I have adopted it as such, right? So that idiot box that he also refers to it is on the screen in many of our homes, emanating with lots of noise that seems to mesmerize and entertain us and somehow beguile us. There was a show on with this fellow who seemed some sort of singing like show, which sounds good. But what struck me was he keeps reminding the contestant or participant, whatever it is, bad is good and good is bad. And my first introduction to that show was as I was walking by, those were the words that were audible. And it stopped me in my tracks. Because is that a conscious thing? Is it done unconsciously? Is it something that perhaps unaware of, but realize that it's a ploy by whoever it is behind the scenes?
Yeah, that's the word for it.
Yeah. And isn't that
right there?
Is that what's happening with much? I think many of us repeat things. We believe what we,
what you see and what you're hearing.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem. But then you know better. You do it the right way.
Yeah. Because I think many people, I believe that they believe what they're saying. The question is, have they been willing to look at it like they would normally anything else? Would they really be, very discerning, very deliberate, and very, how would I say, critical, constructively critical of, what is it that we should be considering?
You mean bring it out and say it and get it done.
Yeah.
You got to get this thing cleared up.
Yeah, man.
Don't sit on one side and talk about it and watch what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Get up and say something, do what you got to do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's what you're getting at.
Yeah, people, I think many of us, myself included, we don't want to deliberately offend. We're very polite and respectful. We try to be responsible when we're talking to others, especially if we have a particular position. Maybe that is a parent or a spouse.
Well, manners is definitely for anyone.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Even the governor sit down.
No, I think the higher, what is it they say, the higher the monkey go up the pole, right?
Right.
But I think the higher you are on the totem pole, the more respectful that you have to be, the more humility you have to exercise and possess. But equally, the more willing that you have to appreciate the need to honestly share information that is accurate and that is timely. But I question sometimes if that is what we do, perhaps because of our title and our position, our pay and whatever else that has got us to where we are, that we probably may decide, well, you know what, they don't need to know this because, or I can't be bothered to tell them this because. Is that wonder if that's what's happening?
Well, that's the problem. Who's going to tell you?
But then...
No, you haven't answered my question.
Yeah, but...
Who's going to tell you?
Yeah, and I was going to answer it. Maybe then that's when it's important for the people, start with a country of voters, but the stakeholders, right? And those who are directly affected, whether it's the consumers of a particular product, saying, wait a minute, you changed the flavor of this product, and they write to the company, they somehow communicate that information. Maybe it's the voters somehow, let's use the word demonstrate, right? So they're demonstrating their like or dislike for something, their support or their non-support. That all can transpire if the democracy is healthy, the people are civil, without it have to require any kind of intervention by a military or an armed militia or a uniformed policing service. People need to be able to understand that with their rights and responsibilities, they have to ensure that society is a healthy one where people can again respectfully share their views
and have respect for them too when they act the right way.
Right, exactly.
Right. Now listen, I know I'm taking up your time. Listen, I just want to say two more things.
Yes, sir.
First of all, I miss Susan. She's the best thing I ever had here. Susan, if you're listening and you plan to come back, try hurry up.
Give her some time, man. She works extremely hard,
I know that, especially when she's around you.
Well, she might tell you that's probably the best part of her day.
You can't even get a drink water for you problem there.
Yes, sir.
The second thing I want to do is this.
Mm.
I hope this new premier and new deputy will do a good job as Alden and Moore did.
Well,
I said it, not you.
Yeah. And I would say this of them, as I would say of the set that comes after them and the set that comes after that. I want each successive government to do even better than the one before.
Right.
So that we all, I would say, a rising tide floats all ships. We improve. We, make it better for all and send. And if I heard what you shared, I think as a people, those who are positive and those who are prayerful, let's send positive, prayerful, sentiments to and for and on behalf of our leadership, our political and our civic and our ecclesiastical and of, business leadership, so that our country is governed and led by honorable, ethical people who do the right thing because it's the right thing to do.
Did I say they were terrible? I just said
No, sir, you did not. You did not.
I hope they will.
Yes, sir. No, you were very specific. Yeah.
And all I'm going to say to them is this. Don't forget Cayman Brack and Little Cayman. That's all I have to say, sir. I'm not going to take up no more of your time.
Not at all.
I know. Oh, just about the time now. So you're not ready for that big hamburger yet.
I have a taste for something else.
And tell the boss we are waiting to get Radio Cayman back at second station.
Yes, sir.
Tell her the waiting days are over.
Well,
who's the minister of broadcasting nowadays?
The minister of broadcasting, is that such a thing? Well, the political. Okay, so right. So the arrangement under the last administration will continue under this one, where Radio Cayman falls under the cabinet office, which falls under the office of the premier.
Good. Well, all right. I can leave some message there one day if I also get rid of Cayman. The association back. It's time for them to fix it back now, man. Come on.
Yes, sir. We'll get there very soon.
Yeah, we always get there when you hear second one job. That's what I told them on roaster this morning. Get roaster back there too. We deserve it.
Well, I think so. All right, sir.
It, sir.
You did.
All of you there, have a good day, and you're all doing a good job.
You're most welcome, sir. Thank you for your, your loyal listenership. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Have a good day. Bye.
You too. All right, with that, let's pause quickly and take a short break. When we come back, there'll be some more open line here on Talk Today, 949-8037, or toll free with the compliments of Flo at 1-800-534-8255. Please stay tuned for Talk Today.
We are in an age of exponential change. The world is experiencing a technology boom where innovation is at an all-time high. What does this mean for small island nations? How can we adapt to the emerging digital revolution? Join 900 delegates from 3 Caribbean countries at one regional event to tackle the theme, Global Digital Disruption, Threat or Opportunity. The virtual RF Economic Outlook Conference happens on May 6th. Register today at rfeoc.com.
King Sports Center takes pride in being more than just an ordinary gymnasium. For 14 years, their multi-purpose facility has been providing the community with a variety of sporting, recreational, and relaxation activities. King Sports Center has a bowling alley, lounge bar, multi-purpose rooms, powerhouse gym, rock climbing wall, bungee jumping, a 10,000 square foot rink, and so much more. For more information on the variety of services, call their friendly staff today at 946-5464 or email kings@candw.ky or visit www.kingsportscenter.com. King Sports Center, your one-stop shop for fitness, recreation, and relaxation.
The Progressives invite all supporters and well-wishers to an appreciation celebration. This Friday, May 7th at the Lion Center. The fun starts at 7 p.m. Come and enjoy good music, food, and refreshments. This Friday, May 7th from 7 p.m. at the Lion Center.
I've got some beautiful clothes. I know just where they go. Puritan Cleaners.
Puritan Cleaners would like to remind customers the closing time for all stores is 5:30 p.m. Savannah Countryside, 10 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Elgin Avenue, 8 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Puritan Cleaners, 337 Eastern Avenue. Drive-through, rain or shine, 7:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Now 10% off prepaid on $20 orders and up. Household and wedding dresses remain at standard offer. 10% off on prepaid orders. Call 949-7104. Puritan Cleaners. You feel good when you look good. The Tuesday and Thursday edition of The Business Buzz is brought to you by K-Man Medical Supplies, providing quality pharmaceuticals, medical supplies, and consumer products to healthcare providers, retailers, and ultimately the patients at a reasonable rate in a friendly, caring, and timely manner. K-Man Medical Supplies is located at number 93 Smith Road, Windward Center. Telephone 949-6211.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back, and thanks for sharing with us. It is open line 949-8037 1-800-534-8255, or you can WhatsApp 925-3261. Sometimes the ability to juggle multiple tasks becomes easier when you have one, a solid grounding and foundation, and two, you have people who are equally prepared to work alongside you and make sure it works good. All right, we'll take a quick look at one of our comments shared here with us, and it's interesting to see where perhaps the sentiments of a few of our listeners are sort of hitting. This particular person weighed in, and we quickly checked it during the break. They said, and I'll paraphrase it, but I want to read one part of it specifically. It said with basically a new government, there are those who would be very excited. Maybe it's because of the fact that you changed, or maybe it's because that idea that you've got some people, some places where it is not necessarily the thought of what you're getting, but what you're perhaps moving away from. Paraphrase that. Hopefully, we are taken away from the essence of what was shared, but as the person sort of prefaced it, wasn't really a fan of the last administration, and I would like us to focus on the positive. We can't unring the bell, but what we can do to move forward to improve where we are. The sentiments continue by sharing, well, if there's something that is new, can we then look at how we can work to make it better? Not sit and see what unfolds, but actively engage and offer up a sense of help. So the part that I want to read, the individual shares it this way. It says, many complain without actually doing anything to improve it. Many people will say, I could have told you so, but they never did. Skip down to the other bit, and it says, with this new government, is it one that we will, quote unquote, see as our own, or is it one that we're going to say, let's wait, can't wait for the next election? I responded to the individual who signed it for two reasons. There was a comment that I wanted clarity on, and two, whether we know or don't know who sends it sometimes should not be material, because we should focus on what is being relayed. In this particular instance, this is an exchange with someone that I do know, and understanding the perspectives over time. But the question is, where are we as a people when it comes to wanting to actively and deliberately get to a space and a place where we are seeing that our actions can make things better, but equally our actions can hinder, and those actions equally can make things for others easier. But do we also wonder what our inaction, our unwillingness, our inability and even the reservations and reticence that we may have, if we don't do something, is that just as bad as, doing something, or is it worse? Well, what is on your view? 949-8037, 1-800-534-8255, or we can WhatsApp 925-3261. The other WhatsApp message asked about the landfill, not just the cost and its management, but how will it progress, and if it's something that is going to be quote-unquote another political football. The person writes and asks, is it something that is going to give us a lifespan beyond just a measured number of years? The supposition, as I reread the comment, is that maybe there needs to be a complete change in how we approach not just the building and maintenance and the like of, say, the landfill, but ourselves, how we are using and disposing of the items we use. Well, your view, 949-8037 or 1-800-534-8255. And then the third WhatsApp that came through that we wanted to look at for you was following on from the press briefing, the financial position of the country. And this particular comment shared that, are we looking at continued borrowing? The increasing calls by many to the talk show, this person has shared about direct taxation. Here's a sentiment from one individual just the other day that we were again looking at, and maybe it's best that we perhaps voice this to it. This person weighed in that would it be preferable to pay a tax in the short term to subsidize those Caymanians in the tourism sector? It does the simple math. There's 3,000 people collecting $2,000 per month is equal to 60,000 people paying $10 per month to keep them on a stipend. Says, I prefer the government to charge me $100 a month so I can help my fellow man than to open up and we all suffer. So what is your view? Is it that we can, as a people, self-tax, as this person is sharing, chip in, put it in a fund to subsidize those of us who aren't helping out, at present? Or do we now need to move forward with a very deliberate plan that is positioning the country to reopen? And when it does, is it that the benefits will accrue to all, or will it be, as some have feared, that there's going to be even greater sort of inequities in our system? Well, your view, 949-8037 or 1-800-534-8255, or you can WhatsApp 925-3261. And the last WhatsApp message that came through speaks to the idea that, let's read it for you. It says, good afternoon. As much was mentioned during the last campaign about public transport. How is this going to be addressed? What? Sorry, that doesn't read well. My apologies. And I think many of us write or when we text in a particular way. But this one's saying, how is the whole idea of public transport to be addressed? Or when will it be addressed? And what? I guess this is asking, what is it going to look like? I sent a response to someone the other day who replied that maybe instead of just charging people more and more to license vehicles or limiting the vehicles, that we find an alternative. Start initially by larger buses, perhaps operated by a government agency, very much like expanding the line that moves around town, but leaves the eastern districts at a certain time. When that was being shared with me, I thought similar to what the seafarers do with Mr. Bobo relative to their meetings. They have a particular route, departure times, and you're there and you collect on the bus and you go. could something like that work? Subsidized transport. Do we now need to, as the person had shared, take and designate certain lanes initially, maybe at certain times of the day, for what we see happen in other jurisdictions? So high occupancy vehicle lanes, not 2 people, but maybe 3 or more, and those lanes get priority. Or maybe it isn't just a lane, maybe it's a particular time. If you travel at 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. or 6 a.m. to 8 a.m., whatever the time that is best, and let's do it so that it's convenient for all of us, you get preference if your vehicle is 3 or more people in the vehicle. How do you feel about that? Are these things that we can do as a society to address the challenges and the woes that we feel on the roads? Is it something that you feel, well, it's a little bit too intrusive and seems too much like government interference? Well, let's talk about that when we come back, when we come to the idea of how we can address some of the challenges on our roads. Hey, stay tuned for Talk Today.
So why is a computer so smart? Because it has a motherboard. Mother's Day is coming up. Do the smart thing. Stop by Savannah Pharmacy with a beautiful collection of bags and beauty products or housewares for outdoor dining. Make the smart decision. Get all your Mother's Day purchases at Savannah Pharmacy in Countryside Shopping Village or call 946-3336. Mom would be proud.
Things just got a bit hotter on the island. Come in today and order the new spicy Korean subs at Subway. They're sweet, spicy, and especially satisfying. Stop in and try the pulled pork with spicy Korean sauce, or the chicken with spicy Korean sauce. And you can message WhatsApp at 929-4658. Order online or use Let's Eat or the Bento app. The spicy Korean subs at Subway in 2 flavors, extra saucy and extra spicy. Subway, eat fresh.
The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. We're here for you. Please be advised that the pension contribution holiday has been extended until 30th of June 2021. Employers and plan members should ensure arrangements are in place for salary deductions and remittance following this date. The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan, keeping you informed. For further information, visit chamberpensions.ky, and for information as it happens, follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, or Instagram. Email admin@pensions.ky or call 745-7630. We're here for you.
The Progressives invite all supporters and well-wishers to an appreciation celebration. This Friday, May 7th at the Lion Center. The fun starts at 7 p.m. Come and enjoy good music, food, and refreshments. This Friday, May 7th from 7 p.m. at the Lion Center.
Members of the public are invited to attend the 2021 Young Musician of the Year competition on Saturday, May 8th at 6:30 p.m. at the Prospect Playhouse, featuring 9 talented musicians vying for the prestigious position of Young Musician of the Year. Entrance fee will be $5 for adults and $3 for children. The 2021 Young Musician of the Year competition is brought to you by the Department of Education Services, Bank of Butterfield, and the Cayman Arts Festival.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waging to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back. Thanks for calling. It's open line 949-8037 1-800-534-TALK or WhatsApp 925-3261. Let's go to our phones. Hey, good afternoon. Welcome. Thanks for calling.
Hi, Sterling.
Hi. How are you doing again? You okay?
Yeah, man.
All right.
I just got back into my car. You was mentioning something about public bus.
Yeah.
What were you kind of saying?
So, we've had a number of people over the last few weeks, but certainly has been, longer than that, who were saying that if we're looking at the traffic woes, not just us as adults coming and going, from work and the like, but our children leaving very, very early in the mornings, and of course that impacts the whole family dynamic. And if we build more roads, let's say we had all the resources and we built more roads, to what extent, will it make any difference down the road if we have done anything differently, and then those roads will become more congested? So maybe there are certain things we could do in the short term. And two suggestions were, one, if we had designated lanes for, like we see in different parts of the world, high occupancy vehicles. Say a minimum of 3 people in that vehicle, and you can move, in that lane only. Or vehicles with 3 or more people can travel at a preferential time of day to get people out. Or if we had, like what we do with the little bus route now that we have going around town, maybe expand that so that from the Eastern districts, borrowing the example that the Seafarers Association has offered for its members in order to get them to meetings, you have a route, it's published, these are the pickup points at this specified time, you're there, we'll pick you up and return you. Things that could help, in the short term at least, alleviate that potential traffic congestion. Now, are we willing to use them? Are we willing to even consider other options?
Well, I understood that they was getting ready to do some district pickups from the sports dock there and where the cruise ship normally comes in. They were trying to get rid of all those chickens up there and try to make that a parking space for those that are coming from east that can park up there on the bus.
Right.
Come and pick them up, bring them into town, and then take them back to the vehicle.
Yeah. We had... sorry, go ahead.
Sterling, I see a lot of the front row. I don't even know what the names are. They just like a 1-foot pusher here on the road. There we go. We got motorbikes, and we got some bicycles that has some sort of motor to it too as well. And as you move around to the island, you see 3 and 4 park up here and there. I guess you can, I don't know how you got to go about getting one to use, but they're being advertised throughout the whole island, even up on Walker's Road. I see some up there parked off, I guess waiting for someone to come and buy it or rent it. They doesn't have no information there, no rental or no for sale sign. I don't know how it really works.
Well,
but Sterling, we have the public bus service here, which is called Public Bus. But they're, as you all know, they're all privately owned by, they're not no part of the government, that I understand.
Right.
And these guys worked according to, they like it and they feel, because if these guys had to drive 10 and 12 hours a day, like in the U.S., to drive a bus taking you from Miami to Tampa, they would last 2 weeks on the road driving, because they're so accustomed making their own hours here on the road. They come out in the morning, get down early rush, and after they feel that they have made excess amount of dollars, they come off the road. And I don't think you can even get 1 or 2 taxis. I mean, no, 1 or 2 public buses after around 8 o'clock at night going east. You might find 1 or 2 going west because, they're always running the 7-mile stretch there, so you might end up getting something going west. You're not going to get nothing coming into Bordentown and East End that I know of, and I have known it for a long time. I don't know if it has changed, that they're going further up and staying, running until 10, 11 o'clock at night. I'm trying to have a good public transport for workers to get to the office on time, just in a 3-piece suit. The bus got to be nice and air conditioned and well kept, and it can't be picking up people who go into construction, no disrespect to them, and those that go into the office. And then they're going to say that's what we call racist, and it's going to be so much of a conflict. Because everybody here just sit in their own ways and don't believe in changing. Like, for an example, when they were doing the roads and making you have to go further up to turn to get to Hurley's or wherever, everybody started complaining because there was such an easy access to get where they was going. They don't believe in driving an extra mile to get where they got to go. They want everything to be at their beck and call. And I don't understand how they can go to the rest of the world and live and got to drive sometime all 3 miles before they can find a burger.
But let me ask her, your comment just then about, the people who use the bus, that we can't have the person working construction or working in the office Why can't we all, irrespective of where we work, use the bus together?
Now, Sterling,
Mm.
come on. I don't want to take no sides with me. But the fact of the matter is, say, for example, right, we got a public bus. And we got 5 to 6 workers from an office out there waiting at that bus stop. Public, hopefully it's a decent bus stop. They can stand in a shelter. They got on the 3-piece suit, and he goes into the bus. The bus is dirty, and he got 6 construction guys outside. And no disrespect to any one of them, Sterling. But you know, boy, going on 3-piece suit and ride in a bus with a construction guy. The guy is full of cement. His shoes are full of cement. And no disrespect, Sterling. We got to look at this in a lot of different ways. It's not a matter about having a bus for the poor man, a bus for the rich man. It's nothing in that. It has to be some decent appearance. I'm quite sure when you go to the States and you ride in those trains and all so forth, those people is they take a train or something to their job. They got hundreds of cars behind each other pulling, right? And I'm quite sure you're not gonna see the majority of them mix up with someone that. I don't know how to say this to you, sir. I don't want to disrespect anybody with their work position or their qualification or anything in that sort. I just feel if we get something like that here in Cayman, put it all together. It got to be divided. It just has to be divided. Simple as that. Simple as that. It's not no racist. It's not about like in this one, and because I one red, and I one black, and I one brown, I one orange. No, nothing like that. No man, no woman want to put on her nice clothes and sit in a bus and be scooch up and go to her office to work. And Sterling, use your common sense and tell me that is true. Come on now, give me some credit right there.
No, All right. You got it. All right.
Yeah, we'll leave that right there.
Yes, Mom, we will.
You take care. Bye.
Hey, thank you too. It's it is good to be able to engage publicly, and maybe through that open dialogue and discourse, we'll come up with some decisions that actually work for us as we look at making things better, but better for all of us, And the caller is right. The idea that the buses may say public, and for some they may infer that it's a public transport, so therefore it's publicly owned. In that sense, what they know and come to expect in other jurisdictions has a semblance of being government. In the Cayman context, we know it's different, as she rightfully shared. They're all privately owned, of course. Like much in Cayman, there's the licensing regime that we have to subscribe to, not just pay the fees, but satisfy the criteria. Maybe that's part of the challenge as we consider what we're going to do. Well, 949-8037 or 1-800-534-8255. As we get ready to go into the break, just want to quickly share, with you. Of course, many have been, hey, we miss Susan. Well, trust us, we miss her presence here in the studio as well. But everyone needs a little time away, and we're glad, that she's healthy and happy and can rest and relax and rejuvenate. And she wants us to weigh in to share that, she's listening, heard all of the wonderful comments and well wishes and sentiments that, wow, we miss you. Well, she says she misses, our listeners equally. I appreciate their wonderful, kind, loving sentiments. And you can look forward to having her back on air in our studio on Monday. I don't know who's going to be more excited. You guys who listen or the team here who says, wow, we got one more team player that can help to take up the load. They do an incredible job. They work tirelessly, and we do it because we love our listeners. We appreciate your loyalty. We appreciate your support. Appreciate when you call in and make requests and tell us how we can improve. So it's gonna, it's wonderful, and Susan, as you know, is a very public figure, and she extends her thanks and prayers, our thanks and appreciation to everyone for their prayers, She went through her surgery recently, so it's a great space, man. All right, let's pause and take a short break, and when we come back, we invite you to share with us. Stay tuned.
Radio Cayman,
the voice,
the heart, the soul of the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice. Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
With your latest headlines, I'm Shanda Gallego from Radio Cayman's newsroom. The governor has received and accepted the formal resignation of the Director of Public Prosecutions, Patrick Moran, who has tendered his resignation for, quote, personal reasons. The governor has reached out to the Judicial and Legal Services Commission as he looks to appoint an interim and permanent DPP. Turning to international news now, in Nepal, COVID-19 cases are skyrocketing. Hospitals are overwhelmed, and the country's prime minister is pleading for help from other nations. Nepal is now reporting about 20 daily COVID-19 cases per 100,000 people, about the same number as India was reporting 2 weeks ago. Last weekend, 44% of Nepal's COVID tests came back positive, according to government figures quoted by the International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies, as it warned of an impending crisis. A former Ugandan child soldier who became a commander in a notorious rebel group has been jailed for war crimes. Dominic Ongwen, now 45, was sentenced to 25 years in prison for crimes including murder, rape, and torture. He is the first former Ugandan child soldier to be convicted and sentenced by the International Criminal Court. And there are few feelings as liberating as swimming in the open air below blue skies that stretch all the way to the horizon. And now, in Dubai, you can do it nearly 1,000 feet above sea level. Named in March as the world's tallest infinity pool inside a building, the rooftop bathing spot at the newly opened Address Beach Resort is a vertiginous 293.906 meters high. That's 964 feet and 3.1 inches. That's about 9/10 as tall as the Eiffel Tower. Those are your latest headlines here on Radio Cayman. I'm Shanda Gallego.
For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
Now you can listen to Radio Cayman everywhere.
Everywhere.
Can you hear me now? Everywhere. Everywhere.
Yes, right from your Android or iPhone. Download the Radio Cayman app now on your Android or iOS phone.
The Radio Cayman app
is where you can listen to Radio Cayman everywhere you go.
Everywhere we go, we go. Everywhere we go, we go.
Find it in the Google Store, the Apple Store, or use the link at www.radiocayman.gov.ky.
Yes, now you can listen to Radio Cayman everywhere.
Talk today. But I do have some questions.
Talk today. Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Good afternoon and welcome back, and thanks for joining us. It's just a few minutes after 3 and we want to invite you to be a part of our discussion. Paul is saying, no, it's after 2. It's 2 or 3, not 3 or 2. See how quickly we can get people to pay attention. It's amazing, eh? The wrong information sometimes slips by us, and other times it goes, that's not how it goes. So, all right, I want you to be a part of it, man. It's a Thursday, and it's the 6th of May. And, some of us, we're looking at things a little differently than we did yesterday. And we're anxious to looking at what things will be like tomorrow, literally, the day after today. Well, 949-8037 or 1-800-534-8255. Or you can WhatsApp 925-3261. Want to read this WhatsApp message that have been sent through, and we had a few people weigh in with their sentiments on it. What is your thinking as you read it? It says, we must go to national elections to elect candidates for ministerial subjects. Otherwise, we are running 19 popularity contests and not addressing the candidate's capacity to be responsible for the subject. Councillors should also be made to declare the candidacy for some of the smaller ministerial subjects. This allows the country to select the best candidate for MP and best candidate for councillor based on experience and credentials in the ministerial subject. This will be met with reluctance by the political directorate because they will then have to convince the entire country that they are qualified to be MP for a particular ministerial subject, versus being able to convince 1 to 200 people within a 2-mile radius that they are the most popular person. There were a few other messages that came through about the idea of a national election, a national vote. And I sort of should have counted so I could keep track of how many. But I think after we looked at it, there was only one that had some reservations about the idea of a national vote. And part of that stemmed from the belief that, and it's probably not unfounded, that the smaller districts, could potentially find themselves at a disadvantage. One of the messages that sort of resonates is that there now needs to be a very conscious, concerted, a very deliberate attempt at looking at our electoral system and figuring out whether what we had before was better than what we have now. So should we return to it? Is what we have now one that we can tweak to make it better? Or is there something that is different that we need to consider? A few people following elections, express to some extent perhaps an unfamiliarity with the system, how it operates, what sort of things unfold on election day relative to the movement of candidates and their agents, the notion of how voters are to behave. In a conversation with someone, she relayed that she's been voting for a very long time. She's no longer 18 and was able to vote in the year that she turned 18, and has been voting, in many elections since, but never questioned. Only accepted, well, I go in, I know I need to behave and be quiet and be sober and be conscious, but never really wondered what else. Let's go to our phones. Hey, good afternoon and welcome. Thanks for calling.
Hey, good afternoon, Mr. Jane.
Hey, how are you, man?
2 days in a row now, right?
Man, if God's willing, maybe tomorrow will be a hat trick.
Yes, sir, yes, sir.
I always appreciate you taking time to call, man.
I appreciate you doing all the work too, taking all these calls and listening to everybody complaints and happiness and everything like that.
It's good, man. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. First of all, Mr. Green, I want to give my condolences to the person that lost their life on a motorbike.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Crashed on West Bay.
I'll be honest with you, that's been making the week extremely difficult.
Very, very, very surprising to hear that again, man.
Yeah, man. Today, for some reason, it's just starting to really set in, So it's it's weighing on your spirits, man. So hopefully, people. But I appreciate you doing that because it's a family. There are many people who are affected on all sides, huh?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. If it was a drunk driver, I don't know. It wasn't a drunk driver.
Yeah. The thing is, there's so much that happens in our society, and sometimes we don't realize how sobering it is and how it behooves all of us to really take a long, hard look at who we are and what we're doing and what we're not doing.
No, I was asking you if it was a drunk driver or someone that was intoxicated or
yeah.
something.
I'm going to go back to the police report and see if we can, without me recalling it from memory, let me just, I'm sure it's here, I can pull it up and read what it was that they had shared relative to the incident. Because there were, some reports, officially that talked about, the driver being of a certain age and maybe perhaps being impaired and the like. So let's find that, and I'm sure I can read it through. But even some of that reminds us of the importance of perhaps giving way to some of our behaviors and understanding that we need to work together, because at the end of the day, it's going to affect us all in some capacity.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I say I lost plenty of friends that in the class in the school. Plenty of them either they was drinking and they crashed, or they would just try and go home and somebody was drinking and crash into them. Trust me, that is heartbreaking to know that people can just sit there and just, I know they're not just letting it go on, you know what I mean? But, I mean, just, you won't say nothing. And it's not only my class, but imagine all the other ones know that, that is probably going to get into that or probably lost the same amount that I lost. You understand? When you got a drunk driving incident or something, you lose two people, one got go jail and then one dead or something like that, you understand? So that's the cost of having, these illicit legal things, you understand?
Is it then that when we look at that, is the societal, when we think of all that happens, right? Are we more willing to condone certain behaviors, to accept certain things than we are other things?
Yeah, I believe it depends on what people say you must accept from what you must not accept. I believe it, somebody just copycatting everybody, just following, just going with the flow. Because if you check it, the more people that stand up, there's in a lot of stress, or I gave one, and that is Mr. Martin Luther King, you understand? I give a next one, Mr. Malcolm X, you understand? I give a next one, JFK. All of them tried to stand up and say things that was against how the flow is, and they paid with their life. You understand? And we know, we just accepting it and trying not to pay with our life. You understand? And to me, I don't believe that what we supposed to be here for. And Mr. Dwayne, I gotta tell you straight. When people try to say, but we this is a Christian place, I kind of close my ears off, or close my head off to when I hear that, you know what I'm saying? Because there's no way that this is a Christian place when there's so much evilness going around here. And when you got the evilness going on, but then it's even more evil to when you see the people sit back and say, oh, that's just how it go.
But then, if people sit back, as you shared, then is it then that we are either complicit, we're willing to go along with it, we are, willing to accept whatever that is, and so our very ethos, the norms and values that were reflective of society, has gone out the window?
Well, I think when you wake up in the morning and you find the police inside your room, you understand? I think you would be very cautious in what you're saying, or you understand? When you saw not only just the police, but certain things around that they know you and they know that you're not supposed to be where you is. It's called trespassing.
Right.
When you got it that the place where you were born and the place that you roam is no longer you understand, you can access that. You're now trespassing on your own land. Like what you say, going to the beach, they're almost trying to say that you're trespassing, trying to walk to the beach. That in the mind, it makes us that where we can go, what we can do, what can we say? So we just have to sit back and take it.
But why though? Why do people just sit back and take it? I mean,
because they know the future. They almost know the future. They know what's gonna happen. When you see, like I said, Mr. Malcolm, Mr. Martin Luther, they can see that what's gonna happen. And some of them, it just like, I'm not going to go through that for that. I'm not going to do that for that. First of all, you you mess me up all my life, or you cuss at me all my life, and I must come now and try to defend you.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? So when you come about and you got these people trying to preach to you like they know about God, and then they go home watch a big screen TV and eat a half a pound of ham, you're gonna tell me about how I supposed to live? I don't think so, sir. I don't think so. In the voting, I don't know why they don't understand that they control the choice when they put up the two candidates that you only can vote for.
But then, if that is what is happening, right, then, again, is it that the voters, right, the wider society isn't sufficiently informed about what's going on, isn't engaged, and isn't willing to not just question, but to step up? We had 50 candidates in the last general election, 19 constituencies. Some had, pick between two. Some maybe had, 3, 4, or 5, right? Now, is it because we see that as, well, we only got one vote, so picking between A and B is the democratic thing to do? Or is it, as you were sharing, well, maybe we don't have 19 little chopped up bits and pieces. Maybe it's all. Or if we do, maybe we don't have just 2 people. We have at least 3 or 5 to pick from.
Yeah.
Which would be...
I get... Which would be better? It would be better if we only had like 2. If we only had 2 real out of the whole people to vote for, I believe. You understand? And the one that tried to give you the chicken, that's the worst one.
But what about having, like, since it's one country, the whole country picks all of the political leadership in some form or fashion? Do you think that would be too confusing, too much for the voters, or would that be better? You got 19 people and everybody picks from the list of 50 or 100. You pick your best 19.
No, man, that's too much, man. That's 19 people to have a say. That's 19 different opinions you gotta go against. 19 different, and then the one that is the one best of the country is the one that's gonna get called out. Is the one that's gonna be left out, because the other voices have so many different donors and money backing them. You understand?
Yeah.
That you could never get no.
So what about the whole idea then, when you say the 2? Would that be just picking between the 2, because we only have 2 people elected, or between the 2 who are the political leaders, whatever that's called, in our case, the premier, or you just want 2 for all the districts?
2. Yeah, so you got 2 from all the districts, but all of them had to go through, say, as much as they could. But it's only 2 that got come from there, and it only out of all the districts, like say, East End got 1 and West Bay got 1. Out of those 2, you're gonna try vote for.
Okay.
Like you'll go vote for the one down East End, or you vote for the one down West Bay. I mean, it don't have to be those 2. You understand?
No. I hear you.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And then really, why it's 19 people? Because 19 people divides up so much money that goes to a handful of people, each one of those 19 people.
But do you think that we could get this from that then? Would it be that we're saying that people are distrustful of systems, distrustful of people in the systems, whether it's the politician or the church or the business? Is that what I'm hearing?
Of course, you're guilty and have to be proven innocent.
But isn't it supposed to be the other way around? You're innocent until proven guilty?
Tell them that. Don't tell me that. I know the meaning of the democracy and being fair and equal, but it's them trying to portray that me, because of who I am or where I'm from, is because I have less credit than the person sitting behind with the hammer.
Right. So you think then that is across the board in all of the systems, and then there's just this inherent discrimination based on where you're from or how you look?
Definitely.
Wow.
Definitely around here is that what's going on. You can see it yourself. I can sell you the same potato, right? But you wouldn't buy the potato from me, right? But the outdoor, the foreigner, he will come with a potato, and it might have a little star on it. You would buy that one faster. That's a lie. I'm not talking no lie. You can go out there, and me and you can go out there and catch the same squab, right? I mean, not the same, but the same size squab or whatever.
Right.
The other guy come there from somewhere else, and he catches a squab. The people, they can go and say that it's fishing in the marine park. It's not him. It's me. It's you. Understand? The people will come and ask him how much fish he got in us, because they know already we're not selling fish.
You know what? It comes down to self-respect, self-love, and the idea that we need to respect who we are, where we are, what we have, and help to, demonstrate through that. Yeah.
Last I'll tell you. Imagine, right? You being told, right, that you're at war, right? But you don't know who you're at war with.
Yeah. You're fighting an enemy you don't know, so you don't know what strategy or what tools to use, huh?
That's a big advantage to somebody that is trying to undermine you.
Yeah. Huh. So how do we address that then? What do we do? If that is what is happening, what do we do?
What do? You have to what they call a reset. You have to reset everything.
And that would involve?
That would involve resetting everything. Everything. Because, check it. You get up in the morning.
Right.
And you was going to fulfill that same day that you fulfilled yesterday. All I have to reset. All right, man. Well, you've given me something to think about, but hopefully others are doing likewise. Any other thoughts you want to share with us? No, sir. I just want to say thank you, and I want to say to the people that calls in, don't stop calling in. No. Yeah, man. This is the time now, right? Yes, sir. Yeah, man. Hey, thank you very much, too, all right? Yes, sir. All right, have a wonderful afternoon. And with that, let's pause quickly, take a short break. Come back, we have some time for a couple of calls if you want to weigh in. Please, stay tuned for Talk Today.
Busy. Feel like there's not just enough hours in the day. Savannah Pharmacy, service to make your life easier. Now you can WhatsApp your prescription order to 929-5045. And pickup is just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours including Sundays and holidays. WhatsApp your prescription order to 929-5045. Savannah Pharmacy, wholesome values with modern conveniences.
Explore your history. Explore your land. Explore your sister islands. The ultimate staycation experience. Your culture, your freedom. The land that time forgot isn't gone. It's your sister islands.
Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
We are in an age of exponential change. The world is experiencing a technology boom where innovation is at an all-time high. What does this mean for small island nations? How can we adapt to the emerging digital revolution? Join 900 delegates from 3 Caribbean countries at one regional event to tackle the theme, Global Digital Disruption, Threat or Opportunity. The virtual RF Economic Outlook Conference happens on May 6th. Register today at rfeoc.com.
I'm looking for a new pizza joint with that perfect crust. My car needs a bit of a tune-up, and my pregnant wife needs something from the pharmacy. So I turned to the printed yellow directory, and in an instant, the pizzas are ordered, the oil change is booked, and the thing that I'm not allowed to say out loud has been purchased for my wife. Problem solved. When you need something quick, do yourself a favor. Flip through the printed yellow directory. Stop searching, start finding. Yellow, we know local.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back, and thanks for joining us. In a quick programming note, of course, we want to invite you to join me start in the morning for the record. Be as engaged politically as you want to be. It leads great discussion and discourse, inviting many to share their perspectives, and we get to navigate the political landscape I want you to come back for talk today, right after the midday news and midday meditation, obviously. I will have the excellent company of Sheen Obi Edwards sitting with us, a good friend. He's not just an astute professional with a incredible work ethic, but a fellow who has an incredible and amazing love and healthy respect for the country, its culture, its people. And as he celebrates and shares with us, we get to see as he shares, through his lens, what East End in particular, or Eastern districts are like in general. And I think that's important for us, because if we are willing to plant seed, in a space in which, we are set, then maybe it'll blossom into something bountiful. If I can, again, with the greatest level of love and respect and the kindness of invitations, extend to each and everyone. Like the callers before talked about, let's find ways to come together. Let's unify as best as we can. There's strength in unity. There's safety and security if we are united. Doesn't mean we don't have differences of opinion. It means that we are civilized and we have a healthy and meaningful discourse. And when there is a sense of dissension, it's not to cause division nor discord. It is to be able to say, well, you think this and I think that. Is there something that is better? Maybe sometimes it's one opinion over the other. Sometimes both opinions are discarded because there's a better one that comes to the table. But if there is a healthy, a respectful tone and approach to our discussions, then we're going to move it. It doesn't have to be, just because that's the norm of other places. We have to adopt and apply it here. Well, in many seasons and in many places, there are many times that we have a growing sense of reservation and reticence. But I think that I've always believed that it's not so much always what we do. It is also, sometimes that thing that we haven't done as yet that may be indicative of what should, in fact, be done in order to ensure that people have this idea that we move together. This listener, as we close up with the last WhatsApp here, I think comes through and says, I agree with the last caller, Ms. Jan. So I've traveled to other countries and refused to take a bus because with some of them working in construction, one would hardly, because of the situation being crowded and the like and the challenges. And I think many times, we have to be increasingly kind and loving and respectful to ourselves as well as to others. Well, the song choice for today is Tabia. If you haven't had, I still like my CDs, if you can find it online and download it. This particular one is called The Jungle, and it's by Tabia. You may never heard it, you may not know of it. It's a group that I think has had great promise of potential and still around in many forms, So, Mr. Fox.
And I'll die for my brothers. So if you hear me when I cry, help me tonight. Oh, only you can. Yeah, well, in the dark we stumble. City is a jungle, but you light the day and lead the way. It shows we're grateful and humble. Lord, you hear the children cry. Help them tonight. Yeah. I know you see me when I fall. See me when I fall. I know you hear me when I fall. Hear me when I fall. Lord, if I should ever stumble, help me find a way. Jungle. papa won't show, when your sister won't grow, your brother won't know, your mama don't know what your papa won't show, when your sister won't grow, and I don't know. Oh, I'm in the jungle. Among the better, Lord, you hear the children cry, help them tonight. And when I am wrong, the nights will seem so long. The darkest time of any night is just before daylight, yeah. I know you hear the children cry, help them tonight.